Hello, my name is Carrie and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the 6-course book tag. This tag was created by Dylan Morris, who I will link down below, and I first saw it on Book Chat with Pat's channel, which I will also link her video down below. This tag sounded so exciting to me because I am a big reader but also a big foodie. I love cooking and baking, so I'm really excited to share my answers with you. Course 1 is hors d'oeuvres, and I'm going to be reading from my laptop because some of the questions have more information to them, so I want to make sure I'm saying them correctly. So course 1 is hors d'oeuvres, French for outside of work, typically a small savory dish served at the beginning of the meal. Depending on the event, served while guests are mingling. List some characters that you find to be especially charming or witty, and list some of your favorite finger foods. So, characters that I find to be very witty, I would definitely say Kitai from Poppy War, the Poppy War series by Kuang. I loved his character. I thought he was very witty, and he was one of my favorite characters of that series. Obviously, that's a more serious, witty character, but also very charming. In terms of more funny, witty, I would say Vera Wong from Vera Wong's Unsolicited Advice for Murderers by Jesse Q. Sutanto, or Barry from Mr. Loverman by Bernadine Evaristo. Both of those characters are ones that stick out in my memory of being such entertaining characters to follow along with, so I think they are the perfect fit for this. For the finger foods, I'm going to talk about 3 different ones. The first one is a regional food that's really popular in St. Louis, and that is toasted ravioli. This is the perfect finger food. It is literally a ravioli with meat or cheese, fried, and it is so good. I can't even describe it. The breading is just amazing. You dip it in some marinara sauce. It's 10 out of 10 phenomenal. I wish more places had that. Then I would say if it's something more casual, I love a fried pickle. It is one of my favorite foods, especially with like a homemade ranch, amazing. One that's more of like a personal one, in my family, we did these chili jelly meatballs when I was growing up. We had them for every event, especially holidays, and we would just put like toothpicks in them so that they were easy finger food grabs. I think they're a really interesting flavor profile, and so it's a fun little treat to have as an hors d'oeuvre. Course number 2 is soup, a usually warm dish served in a broth. What is your go-to comfy or cozy read? List some of your favorite soups or stews. For books, I have to say Legends and Lattes by Travis Baldree. That is the definition of cozy fantasy to me. And similarly, I would say A Psalm for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is, again, just the definition of a cozy read. Both stories are about found families and small communities and have these kind of existential journeys of what is the meaning of life and what brings value to your life. So I think both of those have to be said for this one. For my food choices, I would say my mom's pot roast. She makes it almost like a stew. It's a very sentimental food for me and one that I crave when the weather gets really cold. I would also say the stereotypical chicken noodle soup. I've spent many years working on a chicken noodle soup from scratch recipe that I really love, and it's only been in the last 2 or 3 years that I have really perfected this recipe, and so I am really proud of it, and it's something I really enjoy making for myself when it gets colder. And especially if I'm sick, I still always have the energy to make that soup. Those are definitely my comfort foods. Course 3 is appetizer, a small dish or drink taken before the main course of a meal to stimulate one's appetite. I feel so fancy right now. List some of your favorite poems, short stories, and some of your go-to snack. Poems, I'm gonna actually just list my favorite poets. For this, I would say Danez Smith and Hala Alyan. I have a few others that I could say for this, but those are the ones that I've read the most collections from. A new poet that I'm really excited to read more from is Taylor Bias. She only has 1 collection out, but it was phenomenal, and I really look forward to reading more of her poetry. Short story-wise, there are a few short stories that I read in school that really stood out to me. I would say Killings by Andre Dubus. This is a story that I read when I was in high school, and it had a very lasting impact on me. Also, The Story of an Hour by Kate Chopin. Roald Dahl's The Landlady, and of course Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. I think The Lottery and The Landlady especially because those were the first like scary short stories I ever read, and I was shook when we talked about them in class. I would definitely say those in terms of short stories. Now onto the actual food I would choose. For this one, I'm keeping it very simple and just saying cowboy caviar. This is kind of controversial because some people say it's a salsa, but I don't think that it technically is a salsa. It is corn. You could do chickpeas, black beans, pinto beans, whatever bean you like. I add red and green peppers. Some people add tomatoes, some don't. Some add onions, some don't. I like green onions in it along with red onions, and you do like a red wine vinaigrette sauce with it. I love it, especially in the summer. It's just so refreshing. It's like the perfect snack. I could literally sit and eat a whole bowl of that with no qualms. So that one is definitely my appetizer. Course 4 is salad, a cold dish of various mixtures of raw or cooked vegetables, usually seasoned with oil or vinegar. List some of your favorite fictional regions or environments and your favorite vegetables and how you like them prepared. I don't have a lot of fictional regions or environments. I don't read, or I haven't been reading recently, a lot of fictional worlds. I want to talk more about like actual places in the world. For example, Jeju Island. I recently read a book set there and I found that to be fascinating. I learned a lot in that book about that island and it was very different to how I imagined it. Also, I recently read A World of Wonders by Amy Nezukamatato, and that one is all about the natural world and animals, and I think that I really gravitate more towards those books that have this kind of unexpected or beautiful representation of places that I maybe am familiar with but don't know a lot about, or the natural world that I'm aware of but don't engage with often. So that would really be my answer for this one. Also, in terms of vegetables, I love potatoes in any form. Potato salad, mashed potatoes, it does not matter to me. In Turkey, they have this potato called kumpir, which actually comes from the Balkans. It is a loaded potato that is twice baked, and it is so incredibly delicious. You can get so many toppings on it, and it's something I really, really enjoy. I will also say carrots, especially roasted carrots, and Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are so controversial. I really love them though. I do a lot of interesting sauces with them. Like I do like a Thai bird's eye chili sauce with a mix of like fish sauce. I've done balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts. I think that they are a vegetable that people who dislike them haven't found a way that they enjoy eating them, and you have to add the flavor there. It's not a vegetable that you can just really have on its own like a potato. You need something more. And that is why I love them, because they're a perfect chance to experiment with food. Course 5, the main course, the centerpiece of your meal, and typically the course that the rest of the meal is planned around. List some of your favorite protagonists and your all-time favorite food. For favorite food, I feel like I have to say my mom's pot roast, because that is something that is really so sentimental to me. And now that I live so far from my family, that is a meal that provides so much comfort for me, and it's one that I think about a lot. So I think it is definitely considered my favorite. In terms of protagonists, I would say Gifty from Transcendence Kingdom. I really related to her so much, and I think that was the first time I really saw myself so vividly reflected in a book. Also, TJ Power from TJ Power has Something to Prove by Jasmine Cauardillo. I think she is one of the most amazing main characters, especially for young adult fiction. She was just such a strong and beautiful character to read about and follow her journey. Additionally, I think that book does not get enough like hype around it. It's a story of this teenage girl who someone in her school bullies her cousin who has more body hair than her, and she decides she is going to stop shaving off her body hair. It turns into this very reflective journey of her talking about South Asian beauty standards and the colonial history behind some of these standards, but also the societal pressures living in a Western society and having these expectations, especially when you're a teenager. It's a beautiful journey of such a strong character that is so set in her ways and in trying to prove something, not just to herself, but also to other people, and realizing much more about who she is and her values and beliefs along the way. It was just such a beautiful book. I also would say Phoebe from The Wedding People. I really related to her in being that friend that everyone just randomly tells all of their life to. I have had so many experiences where I randomly strike up a conversation with someone and they just tell me their whole life story. So I really loved her and her personality in that book. And that one was a book where I really was not expecting to love her and that story so much. Course 6 is dessert, a sweet course eaten at the end of a meal. List some of your favorite happy endings in books and your favorite desserts or sweet treat. For this one, some of them may seem odd. The first one I'm gonna choose is Homegoing by Yad Gyasi. I don't necessarily think this book had a happy ending, but it had an ending that was very beautiful and very much tied together all the threads of such a very complicated story in a beautiful way. I really love that book, and I think the ending is a part of why I find that book so just amazing to read. I would also say All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. This is again another one that might seem weird because that is a very emotionally heavy book about two teenagers grieving and experiencing a lot of trauma and finding this way through their friendship, and is similar to Homegoing. I mean, Homegoing is this story that is also very emotionally charged. There's a very long traumatic history that's explored through generations of a family. And in All My Rage, it's more of a microcosm of this through two teenagers and their experiences. But the ending of All My Rage was very wonderful to me, and this story that shows both this connection to faith and also this connection to redemption and growth, and I just think that that was really lovely. On a more lighthearted note, I would probably say Take a Hint, Danny Brown by Talia Hibbert, because I thought the ending was so fun, and it was kind of taking a traditional ending to a romance book and flipping the script a little bit in a way that I found to be really fun and just enjoyable because I really loved those characters in that book. Yeah, I think that would be my more lighthearted choice of enjoying a happy ending. But I think that even in serious books or books that are very tragic and very sad, there's something beautiful to be found within them still. Homegoing and All My Rage are two really great examples, in my opinion, of that experience. My favorite desserts or sweets, I would say Meribian's sticky toffee date cake. I will link the recipe below. That has been the cake that has truly like completely changed my like favorite ranking of cakes. Also, I love a crumble. I don't care if it's an apple crumble, blueberry, whatever type of crumble, it is always amazing to me. I love those so much. I am a very big sweets person. I bake quite a bit. I'll insert some photos. I've recently become really obsessed with like olive oil cakes. So I made like a lemon blueberry one. I made an orange one. The orange one is one I've made several times and I really love it. I really just love baking sweet treats, especially if I can share them with other people, because it's a way to just show someone that you were thinking of them and also to give them something that might brighten their day. Yeah, I'm a really big sweets person, and I love trying new ones and also baking new ones myself. So not just going out to somewhere to try something new, but also trying to replicate those recipes at home. Again, that's something I really love. And the last course is Family Meal, a meal prepared by the kitchen staff for the front and back of house once service is completed. A great time for camaraderie and decompression. Who do you want to see do this tag? I would love to see anyone's responses to this tag. I think this is an amazing tag, especially for people who have a love or passion for food and reading. So I would love to find more fellow readers who enjoy these things together. And if you want to participate in this tag, I hope that you do it as well. If you just want to leave your responses to the questions down below, that would be amazing as well. Regardless, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I thank you so much for watching. Happy reading! Bye!